Hi guys, I hope you're well and had a good couple of trading weeks. We are back with a market outlook. Starting on the dollar index on the monthly time frame, what we can see here is price fell in June, quite nicely, following the trend of the downward trend. It then came back up to retrace into this bearish inverse value gap, and has now last week put in a bearish candle. So that is last month, sorry. That is showing that price wants to push lower, with targets on a monthly on the downside being the 95 level in this fair value gap here. That's the first target. Of course, there are lower targets as well, but because of the time frame, we don't want to go too much into that for now. On the weekly, what we can see is that last week's candle was a consolidation candle because the previous week was a big wick, a big body and a big wick, so to the upside, showing a bearish pressure in this asset. So last week's consolidation, we can expect either consolidation again or an expansion to the downside. So yeah, wait for price to show us what it wants to do. I do expect price to maximum be capped at the 50% of this wick here. So if I mark the high to low of the wick and then get the 50% for, so I'd expect the maximum for it to be is up here before we move lower. However, that doesn't in line with the lower part of the monthly fair value gap. However, I do think we should just move lower from either maybe taking the highs of last week and move lower, or move lower straight from where price is currently. So on a daily time frame, that looks a bit like this, where we can get price to come into this fair value gap here and move lower from there. At most, I expect to move higher up into this fair value gap up here. Okay, so that will be the maximum I expect price to reach into. And of course, you can get manipulation for price to get a wick up into the lower parts of the monthly fair value gap. But just wait to see what price does tell you. Don't try to kind of premeditate and take a trade from there. No, you want to let price show you that, okay, it's coming to a key area and is then moving lower before you want to jump in with the trade. So what that look like on the major pairs? I do think that cable is still the one that's more bullish. If you're bearish on dollar index, you want to be trading the majors to the upside, especially the ones like cable, euro, etc. If it's dollar CAD, dollar yen, then of course you want to trade the same way as dollar index is moving. However, with this, if you look at the monthly very quickly, we have price is now coming moving higher from this fair value gap just here, which is so similar to dollar index. Price is moving lower in this bearish fair value gap. So on the monthly here, sorry, we're seeing price move higher. We can expect price to come up at least until this high here, and the highs from June and May from 2021. On the weekly time frame, what we can see again is let's put that back. Price has taken a nice low here, so taking sell side liquidity and looking to move higher up into, as I mentioned before, the highs over here. We had a bullish engulfing last week, which means that price is showing that it does really want to move higher. So I will be taking longs on cable if the opportunity do present itself. Of course, we do have on the weekly, we have a fair value gap for price to break through, then maybe pull back to and then move higher from there, because you can see it did act as resistance in the week of the 21st of July this year. So yeah, we're looking definitely for longs on this. What I can do is just clear this off to make it a bit easier for you guys. So yeah, price just moved lower and then move higher without much of a pullback in a sense. What we do have here is a fair value gap that price can potentially, there's a bearish inverse fair value gap and also another fair value gap that was made after the close of Friday's candle. So price should move into this area. It's a very strong area of support to move higher. I do expect this gap to stay open, as it looks like a breakaway gap here. I mean that price should come into this area and move higher to the first target being here at 136, and the second target being up at 137, let's say 18 to 90 area. So yeah, definitely bullish on this on the daily time frame. Just wait for price to show you that it come into this area and then maybe have a change in the state of delivery on the 1 hour. So I expect price to maybe come on lower below this candle here. have a change of state of delivery, and then that will be us taking longs all the way up to these highs. It just looks like a very, very nice you know, market maker buy model, if you know ICT trading concepts. Yeah, so that's what we're looking for on the on cable. So now we're going to move on to let's look at gold. Let me just remove drawings. Let's do monthly first and then see where the drawings are. Cool. So what we're seeing is here we have a lot of sort of wicks to the upside. So there was a bit of pressure to the downside on gold. If you look at it on a week time frame, you might see prices coming down, going up and coming down, going up and coming down. It does look like it might push up higher, but of course this candle hasn't closed yet, so we can't assume that it will just break and close above the wicks of these candles here. On the weekly, this looks very choppy, not clear. The week of the 20th of July had a pin bar, which is, you know, a nice bullish, you know, candle, so that can, or did show that price does look like it wants to move higher to you know, to this high here first, and that high, then all-time highs over here. So I do think that this will move higher. And then on the daily time frame, what we're seeing here is yeah, we had a nice bullish candle here that was much bigger than all the previous candles for a while, and this gap here has remained closed. So Friday price did come into this bearish or bullish order block, and now is looking to come higher up into here. So I am definitely bullish on gold. I do think it will just move higher without moving much lower, but we'll see how the, you know, news is over the world, as we know that gold is both an inflation hedge and a safe haven. So if we have issues with geopolitical issues, then gold will spike higher. Or if we have some things a bit easing in a global tension and global risk sentiment, then we'll see gold move lower. We can also look at, of course, silver, which is correlated with gold. What we might see is that this is more of a clear, yeah, moving higher quite sharply here, rather than consolidating like gold is. Once again here, this is looking like it's moving quite higher. Last week was a nice bullish engulfing. This would probably be the best asset to trade to the upside. Prices come to a bearish fair value gap just here, so just wait for price to maybe pull up but lower a little bit, then just, I reckon, just move higher straight to the highest there. And then finally we look at Nasdaq. I took a trade on this on Friday, no, on Nasdaq, and actually on, sorry, and on Dow Jones. I took some trades on that, and yeah, so that was good on Friday. But what we can see on the monthly is prices just pushing higher. The last few months just pushing higher from there. You know, don't want to short this because it's just, you can clearly see it's in a very, very bullish trend. Last week, bullish engulfing, price came down and has showed some engulfing there. And daily time frame, you can see price has just been pushing higher for the last few days, looking to get to the highs up here. So yeah, this is bullish. When you get into the highs, you don't really want to be shorting the price because yeah, it's one nice short, but apart from that, short then pushes higher for a couple of days. Short here pushes higher for a couple of days. So, you know, wait for, if you want to get into a high probability trade, wait for a short to show, then take the longs up into the highs here. But we'll see how it does open on Monday, and then, you know, go from there. So yeah, I hope this does help you guys. Please leave likes and comments. Let us know what you want us to analyze next time. But yeah, happy trading week. Have a wonderful and profitable week, guys. And we'll see you in another couple of weeks.